Hello, Ms Eberts class. It is a beautiful day out today, so I'm bringing you out by way of my laptop. So we're still reading Sideways Stories from Wayside School. Chapter 8, Myron. Myron had big ears. He was elected class president. The children in Miss Jewell's class expected him to be a good president. Other presidents were good speakers. Myron was even better. He was a good listener. If he had a problem, he had a problem. He didn't know what a class president was supposed to do. So he asked, "What am I supposed to do?" "It's a difficult job," said Miss Jules, "but you can do it. You must turn the lights on every morning and turn them off at the end of the day." "What?" said Myron. "As class president, you must learn to listen," said Miss Jules. "I'll repeat myself one more time, but you must turn the lights on every morning." "I heard you the first time," said Myron. "It just doesn't sound like much of a job." "It certainly is," said Miss Jules. "Without light, I cannot teach, and the children cannot learn. Only you can give us the light." "I think it's a very important job." "I guess so," said Myron. He wasn't convinced. "Here, let me show you how to work a light switch," said Miss Jules. "I already know how," said Myron. "I've been turning lights on and off all my life." "Very good," said Miss Jules. "You'll make a fine president." Myron wanted to be the best president ever. But it was such an easy job, he thought, that anybody could do it. When school let out, Myron stayed behind. He turned out the lights by flicking the switch down. "Excellent," said Miss Jules. On his way home, Myron heard a horrible noise. First, there was a loud screeching, then a sharp squeal, a roaring engine, and then the very faint sound of a girl crying. Myron ran to see what happened. Dana was bent over in the middle of the road. "What's the matter?" asked Myron. "My dog Pugsy was hit by a car," Dana cried. "Who did it?" asked Myron. "I don't know," she sobbed. "They sped away." "That's not important," said Myron. "We've got to try and save Pugsy." Pugsy lay unconscious in the street. Myron carefully picked her up and carried her 2 miles to the vet. Dana cried at his side. "Don't worry, Dana," said Myron. "She'll be all right." But he wasn't really so sure. He gave Pugsy to the vet and walked Dana home, then walked himself home. Dana was so upset she forgot to thank him. Myron didn't mind. He thought that was what being a class president was all about. The next morning, before he went to school, Myron went to Dana's house. Pugsy was there. She seemed all right. Dana petted her. Pugsy licked her face. "See, Myron, she's all right," said Dana. "The vet said that you brought her in just in time." "Hi, Pugsy," said Myron. He petted her. Pugsy bit his hand. "I guess she doesn't know you. She was unconscious yesterday when you saved her life." Dana's mother put some medicine and a Band-Aid on Myron's hand, then drove the children to school. They were late. They ran up the stairs to Miss Jewell's class. The room was completely dark. "It's about time you got here, Myron," said Miss Jewels. "We have no lights." "Why didn't somebody else turn them on?" asked Myron. "Because you're the class president," said Miss Jewels. "Show Stephen how to work the lights. From now on, he will be the class president." Myron showed Stephen how to turn on the lights. He flicked the switch up. At the end of the day, Myron showed Stephen how to turn the lights off. He flicked the switch down. After a week, Stephen finally caught on. He made a good president. The lights were on every morning. Myron, who was president for only a day, was the best president in the history of Wayside School. It was just that nobody knew it. Chapter 9. Mauricia. Mauricia liked ice cream. She was sweet and pretty and could beat up any boy in Miss Jewell's class. Everybody liked Mauricia, except Kathy, but then she didn't like anybody. Mauricia only liked ice cream. Every day, Mauricia brought an ice cream cone to school and kept it in her desk until lunchtime. At first, she brought chocolate ice cream every day, but she soon tired of chocolate ice cream, so she started bringing vanilla. Then she got tired of vanilla too. Then she got tired of strawberry, fudge ripple, butter pecan, pistachio, and burgundy cherry, in that order. Then a terrible thing happened. Mauricia got tired of ice cream. By that time, her desk was a mess, and everything in it was sticky. Everybody liked Mauricia, but Mauricia didn't like anything. Miss Jules hated to see Mauricia unhappy. "I don't understand it, Miss Jules," cried Mauricia. "There just aren't any good flavors anymore." So Miss Jules worked all night. The next day she brought in a new flavor of ice cream for Mauricia. It was Mauricia-flavored ice cream. "Everybody will like it," thought Miss Jules, "because everybody likes Mauricia." "Here you are, Mauricia," said Miss Jules. "Mauricia-flavored ice cream." Everybody gathered around as Mauricia tasted it. They hoped she liked it. Mauricia took a lick. "Well," said Miss Jules. Mauricia took another lick. "Well," asked the class. "This ice cream has no taste," said Mauricia. "It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste like anything at all." Miss Jules was heartbroken. "Here, let me try," said Todd. He tasted it. "You're crazy, Mauricia," he said. "This is the best tasting ice cream I've ever eaten. Try some, Dee Dee." It's delicious," said Dee Dee. "It's so sweet and creamy." She passed it around the room. "Oh, it's so good," said Leslie. "I think it tastes terrible," said Kathy. "I don't understand it," said Mauricia. "I don't taste anything." Mrs. Jewell slapped herself in the face. "Oh, I've made a big mistake. Of course you can't taste anything. It's Mauricia-flavored ice cream. It's the same taste you always taste when you're not tasting anything at all." So the next day, Miss Jules brought in a Joe-flavored ice cream. Mauricia liked it. So did everybody else. Joe thought it had no taste. Everybody liked Mauricia. Mauricia only liked Joe. The following day, Miss Jules brought in a Ron-flavored ice cream. Ron thought it had no taste, but everybody else loved it. Everybody liked Mauricia. Mauricia only liked Joe and Ron. By the end of the month, Miss Jules had brought in 27 new flavors of ice cream, one for each member of the class. Everybody liked Mauricia, and Mauricia liked everybody. They all tasted so good. All except Kathy, that is. Kathy-flavored ice cream tasted a little bit like old bologna. Everyone still agreed that Mauricia-flavored ice cream was the best, except Mauricia. She liked Todd ice cream the best. This turned out to be a problem. Every once in a while, Mauricia would try and take a bite out of Todd's arm in order to get that very special flavor. Chapter 10. Paul. Paul had the best seat in the class. He sat in the back of the room. It was the seat that was furthest away from Miss Jules. Miss Jules was teaching the class about fractions. She drew a picture of a pie on the blackboard. She cut the pie into 8 pieces. She explained that each piece was 1/8 of the pie. Paul never paid attention. He didn't see the picture of the pie. He didn't see anything. Well, he did see one thing. Actually, he saw 2 things. He saw Leslie's 2 pigtails. Leslie sat in front of Paul. She had 2 long brown pigtails that reached all the way down to her waist. Paul saw those pigtails and a terrible urge came over him. He wanted to pull a pigtail. He wanted to wrap his fist around it and feel the hair between his fingers, and just yank. He thought it would also be fun to tie the pigtails together, or better yet, tie them to her chair. But most of all, he just wanted to pull one. Slowly, he reached for the one on the right. No, what am I doing, he thought. I'll only get in trouble. Paul had it made. He sat in the back of the room. He paid no attention to anybody, and nobody paid any attention to him. But if he pulled a pigtail, it would all be over. Leslie would tell on him, and he'd be the center of attention. He sighed and slowly withdrew his arm. But Paul couldn't ignore those pigtails. There they were, dangling right in front of him, just begging to be pulled. He could close his eyes, but he couldn't make the pigtails disappear. He could still smell them and hear them. He could almost taste them. Maybe just a little tug, he thought. No, none. There they were, easily within his reach. Well, let them just hang there, thought Paul. It would be foolish to pull one, no matter how tempting they were. None of the other children in class pulled pigtails, so why should he? Of course, none of the other children sat behind Leslie either. It was just a simple matter of being able to think clearly. That was all. Paul thought it over and decided not to pull one. It was as simple as that. Suddenly, his arm shot forward. He grabbed Leslie's right pigtail and yanked. "Ah!" screamed Leslie. Everybody looked at her. "Paul pulled my pigtail," she said. They all looked at Paul. I couldn't help it," said Paul. "You better learn to help it," said Miss Jules. She wrote Paul's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. "Tell Leslie you're sorry." "I'm sorry, Leslie," said Paul. Said Leslie. Paul felt horrible. Never again would he pull another pigtail. Except there was one problem. He still wasn't satisfied. He had pulled the right one, but that wasn't enough. He wanted to pull the left one. It was as if he heard a little voice coming from the pigtail saying, "Pull me, Paul, pull me." "I can't," Paul answered. "My name's on the blackboard under the word discipline." "Big deal," said the pigtail. "Pull me." "No way," said Paul. "Never again." "Ah, come on, Paul, just a little tug," urged the pigtail. "What harm could it do?" "Lots of harm," said Paul. "Leslie will scream, and I'll be in trouble again." "Boy, that's not fair," whined the pigtail. "You pulled the right one. Now it's my turn." "I know, but I can't," said Paul. "Sure you can," said the pigtail. "Just grab me and yank." "No," said Paul. "It's not right." "Sure it is, Paul," said the pigtail. "Pigtails are meant to be pulled. That's what we're here for." "Tell that to Leslie," Paul said. "Leslie won't mind," said the pigtail. "I promise." "I bet," said Paul, "just like she didn't mind the last time." "You just didn't pull hard enough," said the pigtail. "Leslie likes us pulled really hard." "Really?" "Cross my heart," said the pigtail. "The harder the better." "Okay," said Paul, "but if you're lying..." "I promise," said the pigtail. Paul grabbed the left pigtail. It felt good in his hand. He pulled as hard as he could. "Ah!" screamed Leslie. "Paul, did you pull Leslie's pigtail again?" "No," said Paul. "I pulled the other one." All the children laughed. "Are you trying to be funny?" said Miss Jules. "No," said Paul. "I was trying to be fair. I couldn't pull one and not the other." The children laughed again. "Pigtails are meant to be pulled," Paul concluded. Miss Jules put a check mark next to Paul's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. But at last, Paul was satisfied. True, his name was on the blackboard with a check next to it, but that really didn't matter. All he had to do was stay out of trouble the rest of the day, and his name would be erased. It's easy to stay out of trouble when you have the best seat in the house. In fact, Paul could do this every day. He could pull Leslie's pigtails twice, and then stay out of trouble the rest of the day. There was nothing Leslie could do about it. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Leslie screamed, "Ah!" Miss Jules circled Paul's name and sent him home early on the kindergarten bus. No one would believe that he hadn't pulled Leslie's pigtail again. Chapter 11. Dana. Dana had 4 beautiful eyes. She wore glasses, but her eyes were so beautiful the glasses only made her prettier. With 2 eyes she was pretty. With 4 eyes she was beautiful. With 6 eyes she would have been even more beautiful. And if she had 100 eyes all over her face and arms and feet, why, she would have been the most beautiful creature in the world. But poor Dana wasn't covered from head to foot with beautiful eyes. She was covered with mosquito bites. Miss Jewel picked up her yardstick and said, "Now it's time for math." "Oh, no, Miss Jewel," said Dana. "I can't do math. I itch all over. I can't concentrate." "But we have all kinds of math," said Miss Jules. "Addition without carrying, addition with carrying, and carrying without addition." "I don't care," cried Dana. "We have that too," said Miss Jules. "Addition without carrying. Now stop carrying on." Dana whined. "I can't, Miss Jules. I itch too much." "And I'm thirsty," said DJ. "I'm too tired," said Ron. "I'm too hungry," said Terrence. "I'm too stupid," said Todd. Miss Jules hit her desk with a yardstick. Everyone stopped talking. Miss Jules said, "We are going to have math now, and I don't want to hear another thing about it." "But Miss Jules, I really do itch. I can't do math," Dana whined. "No," said Miss Jules. "Math is the best known cure for itch. How many mosquito bites do you have?" "I don't know," said Dana. "Over 100. First I try and scratch one, but then another one itches. So I scratch that one, and that one stops, and another one itches. So I scratch that one, and the itch moves down to another one. Then it goes back to the first one. The itch just never stays in the same place. I just can't scratch them all." "What you need is a good strong dose of math," said Miss Jules. "I'd rather have calamine lotion," said Dana. "Remember, Dana, mosquito bites itch, not numbers." "So what?" said Dana. Miss Jules continued, "We'll just have to turn your mosquito bites into numbers." "I'm a mess," Dana moaned. Miss Jules began to turn the mosquito bites into numbers. "How much is 3 mosquito bites plus 3 mosquito bites?" she asked. Rondi raised her hand. 6 mosquito bites, she answered. "How much is 6 mosquito bites minus 2 mosquito bites?" asked Miss Jules. 4 mosquito bites, said DJ. "How much is 5 mosquito bites times 2? 10 mosquito bites, said BB. "Very good," said Miss Jules. "I still itch," Dana complained. "I've got one more question. How much is 49 mosquito bites plus 75 mosquito bites?" Nobody raised their hand. "Think, class, this is for Dana." Nobody knew the answer. Dana's itch began to get worse and worse. At last, Dana began counting her own mosquito bites. She counted 75 on one side and 49 on the other. Then she added them together for a total of 124 mosquito bites. 124 mosquito bites, Dana called. "Very good," said Miss Jules. Dana had 124 mosquito bites, and none of them itched anymore. "I'm still thirsty," said DJ. "Can math do anything for that?" "I'm still tired," said Ron. "I'm still hungry," said Terrence. "I'm still stupid," said Todd. "I'm glad we've turned my mosquito bites into numbers instead of letters," said Dana. "I could never have spelled mosquito." Chapter 12. Jason. Jason had a small face and a big mouth. He had the second biggest mouth in Miss Jules' class, and there were an awful lot of big mouths in that class. Miss Jules, Jason called without raising his hand. Joy is chewing gum in class. Joy had the biggest mouth in Miss Jules' class, and it was filled with gum. There was hardly even any room for her tongue. Joy, and I'm ashamed of you, said Miss Jules. I'm afraid I'll have to put your name up on the board. That's okay, Miss Jules, Jason said. I'll do it. Jason hopped out of his seat and wrote Joy's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. While he was up, Joy took a glob of gum out of her mouth and placed it on Jason's chair. Rondi and Allison giggled. Jason walked back from the blackboard to his desk and sat down. Miss Jules, he called, I'm stuck. Rondi and Allison giggled again. Miss Jules got angry. Joy, you're going home on the kindergarten bus today. Oh, good, I'll have some company. Todd went home on the kindergarten bus every day. He could never seem to make it to 12 o'clock without getting in trouble 3 times. His name wasn't even up on the blackboard yet, but he knew that by 12 o'clock it would be up, checked, and circled. Miss Jules, what am I going to do? I'm stuck. I'm going to have to stay here the rest of my life, said Jason. Joy, tell Jason you're sorry. I'm sorry, Jason, said Joy. That's okay, Joy, said Jason. I don't mind. Try to get up, said Miss Jules. Jason tried. I can't, Miss Jules, I'm stuck. Miss Jules asked the 3 Erics to help. Eric Fry and Eric Oven pulled Jason. Eric Bacon held the chair. Stop, cried Jason, you'll rip my pants. Rondi and Allison giggled. All right, said Miss Jules, let's try ice water. That should freeze the gum and make it less sticky. I'll go get some from Miss Mush. Miss Mush was the lunch teacher at Wayside School. She had a remarkable ability to undercook a dish and overcook it at the same time. Her specialty was a nice hot bowl of mud. She called it porridge. Jason looked at Rondi and Allison. No, Miss Jules, don't leave me. Besides, Miss Mush's ice water is probably warm. Don't be silly, Jason, said Miss Jules. I'm sure it will be at least as cold as her soups. Rondi and Allison leered at Jason. No, Miss Jules, don't go, he begged. I'll be right back, Jason, she said, and she went to Miss Mush for some ice water. As soon as Miss Jules stepped out the door, Rondi and Allison jumped up from their seats and started tickling Jason. He laughed until his hair turned purple. The girls got back in their seats just as Miss Jules returned. She carried a big bucket of ice-cold water. No, please don't, no, Jason pleaded. We have no choice, said Miss Jules. She threw the water all over him. Well, said Miss Jules, try and get up. He was drenched. I'm wet, I'm cold, and I'm still stuck. Well, it didn't work, said Miss Jules. At least we tried. Now I guess we'll have to cut your pants off. Rondi and Allison giggled. No, Miss Jules, no, Jason screamed. I don't mind being stuck here. I'm really very comfortable. Don't be silly, Jason, said Miss Jules. Don't cut off my pants, said Jason. The 3 Erics will carry you to the bathroom, said Miss Jules. I'll ask Louis to call your mother. She can bring you a new pair of pants. The 3 Erics took hold of Jason's chair and turned him upside down. No, Miss Jules. Now, I'll always have a place to sit down. I won't have to worry about finding a seat on the bus. The 3 Erics began to take him away. Wait, said Joy. Miss Jules, if I can get Jason unstuck, do I still have to go home on the kindergarten bus? All right, said Miss Jules. If you can somehow get Jason free, you don't have to go home early. Don't trust her, Miss Jules, said Jason. He was still hanging upside down. I'll just kiss him, said Joy. No, Jason screamed. Don't let her kiss me, Miss Jules. Throw water on me, tickle me, cut off my pants, hang me upside down from the ceiling. But don't let her kiss me. I'll just kiss him on the nose, said Joy. "You got nothing to lose, Jason," said Miss Jules. "Oh, who would want to kiss Jason?" said Allison. Jason hung up helplessly upside down. Joy stepped up and kissed him on the nose. Jason fell out of his chair and hit his head on the floor. Rondi and Allison giggled. "Darn," said Todd. "Now I'll have to go home alone again." Joy erased her name from the blackboard. Chapter 13. Rondi. Rondi had 22 beautiful teeth. Everyone else had 24. Rondi was missing her 2 front teeth, and those were the most beautiful teeth of all. "Your front teeth are so cute," said Miss Jules. "They make you look so adorable." "But, Miss Jules, I don't have any front teeth." "I know," said Miss Jules. That's what makes them so cute." Rondi didn't understand. "Ooh, Rondi, I just love your 2 front teeth," said Mauricia. "I wish I had some like that." "But you don't," said Rondi. "That's why I love them so much," said Mauricia. "Oh, this is silly. Everybody thinks the teeth I don't have are cute. I'm not wearing a coat. Do you all love my coat? And what about my 3rd arm? I don't have one. Isn't it lovely?" "Love your hat, Rondi," said Joy. "I'm not wearing a hat," Rondi screamed. "That's what makes it so interesting," said Joy. "Don't you think so, Leslie?" "Oh, yes," said Leslie. "It's a very nice hat. Nice boots, too." "I'm not wearing boots," Rondi insisted. "Yes," said Joy. "They're very nice. They go so well with your hat." "What hat?" asked Rondi. "Yes," Leslie agreed. "Rondi shows excellent taste by not wearing the hat or the boots. They will go so well together." Rondi had enough. She covered her head so no one could see her. She put her feet under her desk so nobody could see her boots. She closed her mouth tightly so nobody could see her front teeth. Suddenly, everybody sitting near her began to laugh. "What's so funny?" asked Todd. "The joke Rondi didn't tell," said Jason. "Ask Rondi not to tell it again, Todd," said Calvin. "Rondi," said Todd, "don't tell it again." Rondi was horrified. She didn't know what to do. She kept her mouth shut and just stared at Todd. To her amazement, Todd laughed. "Hey, everybody," called Todd. "Listen to Rondi's joke." Rondi didn't say a word, but the rest of the class began to laugh. Miss Jules got very angry. She wrote Rondi's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. "The classroom is not a place for jokes," she said. "But, Miss Jules," said Rondi, "I didn't tell a joke." "Yes, I know, but the funniest jokes are the ones that remain untold." Okay, said Rondi. "If that's what you want, then that's what you'll get. I'll really tell a joke. That way I don't disturb the class. And tomorrow I'll wear boots and a hat. Of course, you won't like them as much as the ones I didn't wear today. But I better hurry up and tell my joke before you all start laughing." There was a monkey sitting in a banana tree. He was very hungry. He knew that somewhere in the tree there was a magic banana, and once he ate it, he wouldn't be hungry anymore. He ate one banana. That wasn't it. He was still hungry. He ate another banana. That one wasn't it either. He was still hungry. Finally, after he ate his 10th banana, he wasn't hungry anymore. "I knew I'd find it," he said. "It's too bad I didn't eat that one first. I wouldn't have had to waste all those other bananas." Nobody laughed. Nobody even listened to Rondi. Miss Jules was busy teaching math, and everybody else was paying strict attention. Rondi slapped herself in the face to make sure she was really there. She was. The bell rang for recess. Rondi ran outside. She was very upset. Louis, the art teacher, saw her. "Why the frown, Rondi?" He said. "Come on, smile. Let me see your cute front teeth." Rondi screamed. She socked Louis in the stomach, then bit his arm with her missing teeth. And that kind of bite hurts the most. Okay, we'll start at Sammy for tomorrow.